And then if you have not taken Hong Kong as your only place of permanent residence, as you declare on Form ROP 146, then you can apply to have all your conditions removed from your existing immigration status as needing a sponsor or a particular business or some other rationale for being in Hong Kong. And you can move into status of unconditional stay. To qualify for unconditional stay, you have to demonstrate continuous ordinary residence as though you're applying for the right of abode. But if you can't honestly put your hand on your heart and say, I've taken Hong Kong as my only place of permanent residence, you can apply for the administrative convenience of the unconditional stay status, which requires, again, 7 years continuous ordinary residence. You must have held a residence visa throughout all of that time, and all of the visas barring visitor status that we've discussed today would, or supplemental labour scheme, would qualify you for consideration for unconditional stay. If you've been absent from Hong Kong for any length of time, you need to argue away missing periods of residence. Explain that at the time that you departed, it wasn't your intention to depart permanently. It was just a temporary absence, as evidenced by what you left behind in Hong Kong to return back to continue your ordinary residence. And then if you get unconditional stay, it's a bit of a misnomer because all conditions are removed from your limit of stay, but for your limit of stay. But there is one condition, and that is that you're physically present. You make one landing in Hong Kong in any 12-month given period in order to retain unconditional stay, which is different from the right of abode because that's a 3-year period where you have to have one landing in that time. But even in that case, with right of abode, if you can't make one landing in 3 years, as a lot of people did during COVID, or couldn't do during COVID, you get downgraded to the right to land, which is one notch below the right of abode, but for all functional, practical purposes, remains permanent residency, and you can't lose the right to land. You can get downgraded from the right of abode, and you can subsequently reacquire the right of abode after 7 years continuous ordinary residence once more, but you can't lose the permanent status that avails of right to land. Whereas on unconditional stay, it's merely an administrative convenience, and if you find yourself absent from Hong Kong for more than 366 days continuously, you will lose it by operation of law. So